કોની બાઈક How did you get Terima kasih. Inner circle killing.
Yeah, you feel the bad nothing. भगवान की हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रील प्रभुपाद की His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu ki Hare Krishna. So thank you very much everyone for coming here in this nice and wonderful mesmerizing classes by His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu ji. Everybody knows Madana-gopāla Prabhu? How many knows? Can raise the hand? Oh, many of this. Oh, thank you very much. Nice. So it means he is not he's a familiar face with us, among us. So Madana-gopāla Prabhu, there is no need to give him so many introduction. He is already, when you hear from him, you know what is the potential, what is the quality of Madana-gopāla Prabhu. Already Prabhuji is joining with us, I think last 4 years when we started the Zoom class. Prabhuji is usually giving the Zoom class, and in that way we met with him and he's giving the instruction and all the nice wonderful classes and all the respects in every subjects. There is nothing like that, the one subject only, all the subjects, and it is very practical. The classes is not like that over our heads. It is very practical and we are facing everyday life. So Prabhuji is in Kenya, is Nairobi. And by the way, he shifted to USA, then took the initiation. And now Prabhuji is holding so many responsibility. Prabhuji is the General Secretary, General Supervisor, General Supervisor of the North America. Is right? Yeah. And also Temple Chairman of Persephone Temple. It is nearby New Jersey. And Prabhuji have so initiating Guru is taking so much responsibility and nice, very wonderful temple he already made. It is maybe this year or next year it will be opened. Is it right, Prabhu? Hopefully, thank you very much. So we pray also for opening this temple, very nice and wonderful temple. We pray. So it will be open. Already I saw the videos, some videos that's already finished these things, all the construction, almost finished. So it is very nice, Prabhuji ji here, and we are also very grateful here. So listen from Prabhuji 2 days, now today and tomorrow. So also I thank the same time all the devotees come from the USA. I thanks all of you. You are here on behalf of ISKCON Eldoret. We welcome all of you. Also I welcome His Grace Govind Prem Prabhu. He is our general supervisor of ISKCON East Africa. Everybody knows him, the youth leader and very wonderful preacher, especially in university and college and for the locals also. Also, I welcome our guest, Mansiganga Mataji. She is just here. So thank you very much, everyone. Please chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra for the glorification of all the wonderful devotees. Please join.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu ki, ISKCON Eldoret ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Tathai Gaur Hari Premanande, Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Thank you very much, Partha Premlo, for your generous, kind introduction. Can everyone hear me back there? Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you, Govinda Premlo, for very kindly inviting me to come to Kenya once again and arranging so beautifully this entire, series. And I want to thank Her Grace Mansiganga who just arrived. Thank you for being here, for blessing and gold standard for association. What is called Sadhustanga, which brings us to the topic for today. Association of devotees. The talk is entitled The Power of Proximity. You know what is proximity? How close you are to somebody. That has power. And why association changes, transforms our consciousness. So, my dear friends, let's begin with a simple question. Who are the 5 people? Think about it in your mind. Who are the 5 people who most shape your thoughts, your habits, and your hopes? Think about it. Your thoughts, habits, and hopes. And then think about the 5 people who most shape your devotion, your consciousness, your vision of what a meaningful life looks like. There are people who shape that. Maybe you don't know them personally, maybe they don't know you personally, but they affect you, they influence. Now, whether we realize it or not, We are always being shaped. Always. We are being shaped not just by ideas, but by the people who live those ideas. We don't simply become what we read. Of course, we're supposed to read, learn from what we have opened in the books. But much more than that, we become whom we repeatedly witness, who you see. That's why our sages teach us, not just our sages in every tradition, that the company we keep is one of the most powerful forces of transformation. So we have to choose wisely. Isn't it true, like when those of us who have children, we worry, I hope my daughter has good friends in school. Why? I'm the parent, why should I worry? Because that has an influence. I hope my son will get a good circle of friends. Why? Because we know growing up, our friends influence us. Proximity affects our future. Even thousands of years ago, the great sages faced the same dilemma we do today. There were countless scriptures, so many scriptures are there, hundreds, even back then. Countless opinions, countless teachers. So then they asked, where can we find the actual truth? So many scriptures, so many books are there. So many different schools of thought on the same books are there. But where is the truth? So in Mahabharata, we find a very profound answer to this. In Mahabharata, Prabhupada quoted this quite a bit. Tarko pratishtha shutayo vibhinna nasa vishiryasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gata sapantha. That logic, tarka means logical arguments, they have no firm foundation. And the scriptures, they appear to be so different in so many ways. You open one part of scripture, says one thing, another part says something else. I have a hard time reconciling differences sometimes. And every sage, every thinker has a different opinion. In fact, nobody's considered rishi unless his opinion is different from others. You have to have a unique opinion. Right? Unless he proposes his own view. I mean, you can't have a PhD unless you do something original, different from something else. See? So, but the essence of dharma, the essence of scripture, essence of the truth, where is that found? It lies hidden deep in the heart. Guhayam. Guhayam means a cave, a secret. Guhya means secret. So then how do we know it? Mahajana yena gata sapanta. The footsteps of the great souls, Mahajanas. What did they do in different scenarios? That is how we follow. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is a much clearer scripture than says just a list of do's and don'ts. Because you see what great souls did in very complex situations. And if you study the Bhagavatam very thoroughly, you will see many of those complex situations find parallels in our lives. Even complex things that we think we have complicated lives, they have complicated lives too. But you see how they went through it in a very Krishna conscious way. Mahajano yena gata sampata. So, tarka apratishta. Just reasoning and logic, it shifts like sand. Right? But the sure path is one that is walked by the great souls, Mahajana. Now, that is a very humbling revelation, isn't it? The truth of life cannot be reached just by books or just by debating. The essence of dharma doesn't lie in the ink of the scriptures. It lies in the pulse of the saint, the one who walks the walk. That's why association is so important. That is why association is not optional. So, okay, you can either read the book or you associate. No, no, no. You need both. It's the living bridge between theory and realization, association. Even Arjuna was in the battlefield with Krishna, right? And he was face to face with Krishna, God himself. And Arjuna wanted to know what realization looks like in actual action. So after hearing so much philosophy that, okay, this is a person, a sage of steady mind, Krishna tells it, Siddha Pragya. This is what you must become, Arjuna. Steady-minded sage. Then you'll know what to do, what not to do. And after hearing so much philosophy, Arjuna asks not for another lecture. He asks, Sthita pragya se ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sitadhi kim prabhaseta kim asita vrajeta kim. He says, oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of someone who is a sthita pragya, one who is fixed in consciousness, in transcendental consciousness? How does such a person speak? How does he sit? How does he talk? Notice, he doesn't ask, how does such a sage think? He didn't ask, how does he think? Interesting. But he said, how does he sit? How does he talk? You see, because realization expresses itself through behavior, not theory. Understand? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes. Not just belief, but behavior. And behavior has to be seen, felt from somebody else. That's how parenting, you cannot do parenting through theory. Just by speaking to children. The children won't just listen to what you say, but they watch carefully what you do. In fact, there are parents who cannot speak just because they have limitation. But the children see what the parents do and they learn from that. That's okay, and the child will be fine. Behavior is the number one teacher. So, Arjuna asks, Sthita pragya se ka bhasha? What is his language? How does he speak? How does he walk around? So, Krishna answers this through several verses. He paints a picture for Arjuna. A steady soul, which is all of us, we want to be that. That's why we're all here. We want to be steady in our lives. We want to be peaceful. We want to be strong, to be resilient, to face the ups and downs of life. And we come to Krishna consciousness to get all that. All those are very real byproducts of practicing spiritual life. So we come and we say, I want to be a steady soul. And Krishna says, these are the symptoms. Free from selfish desires, first one. Actually, selfishness is the core issue for all of us. You know? Arjuna asks, by what is it that one is impelled to act even against one's own wishes? And Krishna says what? Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava. It's a great enemy, Kama. Kama has been translated many ways, lust. Lust just means very strong desire to enjoy materially. What is that? Selfishness. That's all it is. Selfishness is the root of all our miseries. So first, let's move away and become free from selfish desires. Move away from it. Okay, fine. Let's see if we can do that. But you cannot just live a life of negativity when you've removed something. You have to also find contentment within. You can't pull something out and not replace it with something. You see, the soul is always in need of some connectivity, some vibrance, some joy, some meaning. And if you pull away, uproot this toxic, selfish desires, it leaves a vacuum in there. And then you think, oh, at least I got to this one. Another selfish desire comes in. What's the point of that? See? So we have to have contentment within. And we want to remain content even in pleasure and pain. So this is Krishna telling Arjuna what a Sthita Pragya looks like. Free from selfish desires, content within. Even when there's pleasure and pain, remains content. And he's withdrawn from external distractions. Things that are meaningless, that distract you from your goal. Just like Kurmanganiva Sarvasha. Just like what? Tortoise. Now, tortoise, have you seen tortoise? Have you seen tortoise? Yeah. It moves its legs inside you and head goes inside the shell. Does the tortoise keep its head and legs inside the shell like 24 hours 7? No, only when there's danger. So it doesn't mean all the time like this. Means when there's a danger of distraction from the goal, at that point you protect yourself. Let the danger pass. Then you look, okay, it's gone. Similarly, the tortoise also needs to function carefully and walk around and look for some letters to eat and whatever it does. But when there's danger, it's very expert in withdrawing. That's analogy Krishna is giving us. And the Sthita Pragya is unmoved by gain or loss. Right? So, in short, Krishna is telling this is called serenity in action. And this is how we recognize, so say we don't have it, but I want this. Right? I want this. So at least it teaches us how to recognize the person with whom I want to be friends with. So some of that serenity will rub off on me. That is why we want to know whose company is worth keeping. If you see a person whose inner balance radiates in their behavior, the way they treat others, the way they speak to others, then we know I want some of that magic dust falling on me as well. That's why we have culture of association. So it is not charisma that matters, but clarity, compassion, and consistency. See, someone who's consistently clear, someone who's consistently compassionate. Clarity, compassion, and consistency. Not just like 1 or 2 days, then a good mood, so very nice. And then most of the time they're always irritated, snapping at people or talking wrong things. Or consistency. That's important. So that's the person who we want to associate. Now let's bring this to a modern understanding here in 2025, going into 2026, and why this association works. Psychologists tell us that 90% of communication and influence is non-verbal. You know what is non-verbal? Not the spoken part. Just how people's faces. You don't even know whether the person is irritated at me. You just see their face. Or someone is happy to see me. They don't have to say anything. You just see the face light up. That's why if we irritated somebody and we don't want them to know, it's very hard. It's very hard. It doesn't have to really practice to not like look irritated and like bitter all the time. It's very important. Oh, I didn't say anything, but your face says everything. You don't have to say anything. Say what you're feeling. We catch people's emotions through what's called mirror neurons. This is a phenomenon known as mirror neurons in the brain. How does it work? When someone near me, suppose he's very happy, right? Then my own nervous system begins to copy that state. And I become a little bit like him. It's almost like I cannot help it. It's true. Even babies show this. You put like, you know how they're in the maternity ward, all the babies are there. And if one baby starts giggling, the 3 of the others start giggling, as if they're watching some comedy show together. But they're not watching anything. They just feel the happiness of the other. One starts crying, all of them start crying. It's mirror neurons. It's very, very natural. You'll notice if somebody is like sitting in lecture for a long time, one person yawns. All of a sudden, 7 people start yawning right after that person. It's true. It's a mirror neurons. This is power of influence. It works. So association isn't just social, it is neurological. We can't escape it. We literally absorb the mood and the values and the energy of those who are around us. So spiritually speaking, we catch the consciousness like we catch fragrance, you know. So when we live around devotees who are genuinely humble, they're peaceful, excited about Krishna, you know, we see devotees. Okay, we're going on Harinam today, and the face lights up. And another devotee is Harinam today. Oh, really? Again, we have to go. Same thing. One person gets so excited, the other's like, boring. Who do you want to be with? You want to be with those who are excited about the right things. I remember, my father, just back in the 80s, he bought a computer. I turned on the computer. He said, listen, he was very excited. Turn it on, it was just like the type you type in. It was on Windows back then. It didn't have, it was not graphical. Just type in some command and you do something. There's no games, there's no video games. I thought, so boring. But every day he'll turn it on, he'll get so excited. I don't know what he's excited about, the black and white screen and typing in some commands. But because he was so excited, I started getting excited. He said, learn this computer, open his book, learn these computer programs. And because of his excitement, even something so boring, black and white, I had to type in the, basic language code. It took me 3 hours to copy from the book. But I was excited because he was excited. At the end, I managed to actually write a program for a video game. It's just a silly video game. It catches some, raindrops. But my point is, even something boring doesn't matter. If the person who is touching it gets super excited, the kid will be excited. My father said, I don't like sports. I never liked sports after that. And so I used to watch, one time on football, he said, what is this? 11 grown men walking around chasing a lifeless ball. How is this intelligent? And then I turned it off. I said, this is foolish. Even if they make millions of dollars, it's foolish. Since then, I never watched soccer. I had zero taste of watching any sports. Playing, I had taste for playing, like a play, tennis. It was good for the body, but watching is a waste of time. So, but my point is, our association really, really influences what we get excited about. See? If our parents light up at the sight of wealth and fame, we learn to chase those. We learn to value those. And later on, we want to devalue them because it's hard now. Because we realize spiritual life is much more important than wealth and fame. So we have to undo some of that. If our parents glow when they hear Krishna's name, it'll affect us too. That joy imprints upon our soul. That is why the company we keep is the curriculum of our heart. The curriculum is emotional curriculum of our heart. Emotions rule us. Of course, we frame our emotions in some sophisticated verbiage, words, but it's really the emotions, the feelings that rule us. Therefore, we want our feelings to be directed properly. Anybody know Narada Muni? Yes, everybody knows Narada Muni? Yes. Narada Muni was the guru of Valmiki. He was the guru of Dhruva Maharaj. He was the guru of Brigari the Hunter. So many people. Prahlad Maharaj, right? Great souls. He's one of the 12 great souls. But in his previous life, he was the son of a simple maidservant. Now, during the rainy season, a group of very saintly sadhus called the Bhakti Vedantas, that's correct. Bhakti Vedantas stayed in their house. It was raining, so they stayed a couple of months. This young boy served them very humbly, washed their plates, and he would always not waste time, he would not play around, he would listen to what they're saying, he would always stand ready to serve. It's very beautiful. And once, with their permission, he tasted the remnants of their food. They didn't lecture him. They would just talk amongst themselves some Krishna Katha, and he would just be on the side ready to serve. But they lived their devotion. The serenity in their eyes, the sweetness of their chanting, their complete indifference to comforts, they didn't care. These things entered into the core of that boy's heart, purified him, and his consciousness was changed forever. And then what gelled the whole thing together is when he accepted the remnants. Uttishtalepana, there's a nice verse about it, it describes how that works. So all that association and power, it gelled into the remnants that they left behind. And he took permission and took it, and he completely transformed. So what happened was that he followed their path, he meditated on their qualities because they touched him. And by their mercy, he became the great sage Narada. In his next life, he didn't get a gross body. He got immediately a spiritual body. So this is the invisible power of pure association. Transformation without instruction. presence that purifies. I'll share a personal story. I've said this story many times. This is my own personal experience. Years ago, I visited a place in India, in Gujarat, known as Dakor. Anybody heard of Dakor? Dakor is very, very nice. The temple of who? Ranchod Rai. Ranchod Rai ki jai. So maybe I was 14 or 15. I was taking darshan. I was trying to be Hare Krishna. I'm Hare Krishna. I want to be Krishna conscious. Yes, the curtain's going to open and I'll be so much in love with Krishna. I'm going to see this wonderful deity for the first time. Devotee. Yeah? I was standing in the crowd waiting, the curtain opened, and I was feeling, so beautiful. But why am I not feeling joy? Why am I not like hair standing on end? Why am I not super excited like I thought I would be? So I was somewhat disappointed in my own response. I thought I loved Krishna. It was underwhelming, disappointing. Then there was behind me an elderly lady who was like much shorter than me. And I'm not very tall. She was very short. She must be 4'4" or something. Very, very short. Must have been maybe 85 years old. Thick glasses, like the bottom of Coke bottles, like very thick. And she was peering like this. Her eyes looked so big, and she had tears in her eyes, and she was looking at Lord. She was blinking and tears streaming. I'm like, wow, this lady comes here probably every day. Still, she has so much love. When I saw the tears in her eyes, then tears came in my eyes. Not when I saw the deity. The reflection of love that she had bounced off, that light came into me. I couldn't help but feel now her love for Krishna. I said, this is the secret. This is the secret. I don't know her. I don't know her name. It doesn't matter. No words, no philosophy, just pure love shining through. Something happened inside me. I realized this is called Krishna consciousness. See? Not an idea, but a deep feeling of pure love. A living reality of a relationship that this Mataji has with the Lord. And the hope that I too one day can have that relationship. Great hope. Because in front of me, it's possible. It's not theory anymore. One glimpse was more powerful than 100 lectures. This is called the power of proximity, being close with someone. Her devotion became my inspiration. Now, there's a flip side to the whole thing. When there's light, there's also shadow. The dark side. The power of bad association. That's true too. So just like good company uplifts us, bad company, wrong company can degrade us very quickly and very powerful. There's a sincere Brahmin, he was a nice devotee. His name was Ajamil. He's married to a nice chaste wife, but everyone knows the story. One moment of weak association, he associated, is glimpsing bad behavior. Seeing this scene of a fallen woman planted the seed of selfishness in his heart that completely ruined his life. He became a criminal of the worst kind. He threw his very nice wife out and he took that woman in his house and he was like 80 years old. So many years he just kept doing more sin and taking intoxicants and going out and killing people so he makes some money to give her. He abandoned his duty, he abandoned his family, he abandoned his dharma. Association is never neutral. Keep that in mind. And either moving closer to Krishna or moving away. It's never like, okay, this is not going to move you. We are always being moved. Krishna says, everyone is on my path in all respects, right? In Gita, he says that. But the road is there, everyone is on the road to Krishna. But not everybody is moving toward Krishna. Some people are being pulled backwards. The road is the same. We are trying to move toward Krishna, bad company pulls us back. This is why scriptures repeatedly warn. Sangha sanjayate kama, kama krodha. Sangha, association. Even nectar of instruction. You notice there are 6 things that are good for Krishna consciousness and 6 things that are destroy Krishna consciousness. Right? Between those lists of 6 things, both of them have one thing in common. Asat Satyad. You give up bad association. Bad association will ruin your Krishna consciousness. Giving up bad association will guarantee your success. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, what is the behavior of Vaishnava? He didn't say, wakes up early, does arati, chances around. No. He said only one thing. Asat sam tyag ei Vaishnavachar. What? What? He said, giving up bad association, that's all Vaishnavachar is. He didn't give anything beyond. Wow. Think about that. How does that even work? Just giving up bad company is the hallmark of a devotee. How does that work? Because, see, we are social beings. We'll always associate. And if you give up association with non-devotees, we will take up association with devotees. After that, everything's automatic. They will teach you how to do arati. They will teach you how to bow down your head. They will teach you etiquette. They will teach you chanting. But because you gave up that bad association, these things become possible. If you hold on to this, this will become very difficult. Are we together? Okay. This is something I learned from Govind Prabhu. Yes. Are we together? So, association, we can choose. We can choose our association. Sometimes I say, what choice do I have? No, I can always choose. Sometimes, like in school, I know in America, they have this cafeteria where everybody brings their lunch, and at lunchtime, there are many, many tables, different kids are sitting at different tables. You always have a choice which table you want to sit at, isn't it? You take your lunch, look around, I'll go with that one. Why? What criteria did you use to choose that table? Think about that. That will affect our future. We always choose our association. The fact that all of you could have been anywhere else in Eldoret, but you're here, means you value what is called satsang. Sat means truth. Sat means eternity. Right? Satsang means it's true, it's eternal, and I want that. I want to come out of this non-eternal death spiral and come into the presence of what will make me truly eternal, truly good. Sat means good, it means true, it means eternal. Those are all synonyms. Interesting. But Sang is very important. One time, like Indian weddings are very colorful things. Thousands of people go out to Indian wedding. And so I knew that, the Indian weddings, the ladies, they get very emotional. Especially when it's time for the vidai. Vidai means the wedding's over, and then the girl gets in the nice car with the flowers. There's flowers in the car. Thought it looks very weird. Anyway, they put a lot of flowers in the car. And no, okay, it doesn't look that bad, but I just thought it's kind of odd. This is a waste of flowers. It's just going to fly away. Anyway. So then this driver comes, opens the car, and then the husband is there, he's smiling, and the girl is crying. And then the girl's parents start crying. I said, why are they crying? You should be happy about this. So this is when I was very young. So then one day I said, I went to a wedding. This time I'm going to go. I'll be the only one not crying, he said. Because I'm sane, I'm normal. What's wrong with them? So I went there, and then when I saw this girl, I don't even know the girl, the family, it's just a friend of a friend who met me. I don't know, I never saw her before in my life. I never knew any family members. And I went there standing with my nice, clothes. And then I saw everyone was like about to cry. I was the first one who started crying. Why am I crying? I don't know. It's so sad. This girl, I don't know who she is, and she's going with this guy, I don't know who he is. But everybody's crying. Must be something going on. I couldn't help it. This is called power of proximity. We want to be with people whose emotions will affect us and move us. So what are we seeing today? Philosophy guides us. It tells us what to do, what not to do. But association transforms us. It makes us something different. You see, the difference between guidance and transformation. Both are needed. Guidance helps us choose the right association. If we train our children to choose the right people, then we feel a little better. Guidance, that's guidance. But after making that choice, then our future will be based on who we hang out with. Second, realization is caught, not taught. You catch it from others. And truth hides in the heart, not just in the text, in the ink. Mahajano yena gata sapanta. And if you want to rise above, we want to transcend the material selfish plane and become Krishna conscious. Then we have to speak, we have to sit, we have to walk with those who mirror steadiness, who exemplify those qualities we read about, and who exude that love. That's why those who came in touch with Srila Prabhupada, they were so moved. One time Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they were visited by a scholar who studied different religions. I think it's Harvey Cox, very famous scholar. He was very interested to know about Bhaktivedanta Swami. It was a new movement, it was still 1966 or something like that. And there were just like maybe 10 devotees or 20 devotees. And so he went and met them. He had not met Prabhupada yet. And he saw these devotees so excited about Krishna consciousness. And he asked them some philosophical questions, simple ones. And they had no clue how to answer. And he was like, I couldn't put two and two together. On one hand, they're just so excited about this Krishna consciousness. They've given up everything in their life. They've given up smoking, everything, drinking. They're just like, want to chant Hare Krishna. But on the other hand, they don't even know the basics of philosophy yet. How do you put this two and two together? He said, I couldn't put it together until I met Bhaktivedanta Swami. And then it made sense. Being with a great saint like this, you feel such a high voltage of joy that you want to be just like him. Whether you understand it yet or not doesn't matter. The framework will come later. I want to be with this person. And that influence of the power of the pure devotion of Prabhupada was seen by this scholar. Even today, we can be touched by Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhupada is still alive, very much so, in his books, in his voice recordings, in his videos, in his many lectures and teachings, and in many other devotees who got to see him, who heard from him. They can also tell when you see the excitement in their eyes when they describe how they met Prabhupada. That touches us. It's amazing. Second-hand association is just as good. And his first-hand association is available even today. With the picture, you keep a picture of Prabhupada in your room. Keep book of written by Prabhupada books. Read them. Allow them to absorb in your heart. And if you don't understand anything, find devotees who can explain to you what does Prabhupada mean. There are many devotees in your circle over here. There are many devotees online nowadays. It's never a problem to find answers anymore. Because Prabhupada, by his mercy, has spread his knowledge and his devotees all over the world. In every language, you can find an answer. That is our good fortune that Prabhupada is very much alive, very much available. So we can associate with him. So I want to end with a prayer. So please just listen carefully. Oh Lord, let my heart be drawn to those whose very presence reminds me of you. Let me serve the great Mahajanas who carry your fragrance. And let me one day also carry that same fragrance of Srila Prabhupada to others. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. So this is part 1 of the association series. We'll continue this. So today we covered on the power of association. And tomorrow morning, if you like, you can come. And we will cover the art of association. How to recognize, how to cultivate, and how to become ourselves good company for others. So following the current of mercy that flows from above, from the ancient Bhaktivedantas down to Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta and beyond. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you all very much for your kind attention and your valuable time for coming here. It really means a lot. Our devotees have flown. We have a a gang of 10 devotees who flew from America to take association from all of you. And we pray that your sincerity rubs off on all of us. Your sweetness that you have in the way you preach, the way you give Krishna consciousness to others, the way you're practicing Krishna. We hope that some of that sweetness also falls upon our heads and we can carry it back to America where it is very much needed. So yes, if you have any comments or questions, you have time for that? Yeah? If you have any comments or questions, you can raise your hand. Don't feel shy.
Yes, question. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your nice and wonderful class about the association, the proximity. But the association is very subtle. How can we distinguish that one? What is a good association and bad association?
Yeah, good question. Association is very subtle. How do we distinguish between good association and bad association? This is covered in tomorrow's class, but I'll give you the answer now, because not everybody may be able to come tomorrow. The answer is given by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction. It's a verse. This is verse number 5. Krishne tiyasya giritam manasa griheta diksha sute pranatibishya bhajantamisham shusrushaya bhajana bhikyam ananyamanya nindadi shunyam vidamipsita sanghalavdya. What does it mean? I'll just give it plain, simple. So we want to become devotees. Simple, one thing. Now, how do I choose, because it's very subtle, how do I choose? There are many levels of devotees. I know if I associate with certain types of devotees, I'll become certain type of devotee. How do I choose which devotee do I need to get close? So Rupa Goswami says, you must choose properly. When I first read this, I'm like, who am I to discriminate? Who am I to judge? What qualification do I have to judge? All devotees are sin. He's saying, no, all devotees are not sin. This is the very beginning of the book. He's saying, first understand this, then you associate. He said, if you're going to search for gold, or buy gold, you have some, you have a million shillings, you want to buy a million shillings worth of gold. You go in the market, and you don't even know what gold looks like, you'll be cheated. You can't say, who am I to judge? This looks like gold. He said this gold must be gold. No, that's foolishness. So Rupa Goswami said, don't be foolish. You have to learn to find out which category of devotee they are. He says there are 3 categories of devotees. You must know this. Don't think, oh, who am I to judge? No. Otherwise, you will fall in the wrong track. What is the mistake you'll make? You'll make a couple of mistakes. There are 3 categories of devotees. What is the topmost devotee is called? Uttama Adhikari. Second grade devotee is called Madhyama Adhikari. And the lowest grade devotee is called Kanishtha Adhikari. They are all Adhikaris. They are all devotees. So he says, Kanishtha Adhikari, how do I know what association? It's very subtle. He says, Kanishtha Adhikari likes Krishna. He loves, at least he likes Krishna. He likes coming to the temple. Sometimes he may be offering some service to the deity. That makes it a devotee, makes him a devotee. However, because he hasn't understood that Krishna is in everyone's hearts, he hasn't fully understood that, he behaves with them very badly. If there is a devotee who does not know how to behave with others properly, who is rough in talk, complete disregarding of etiquette, completely thoughtless, feeling very proud in front of them, or making them feel bad about themselves, talking bad behind their back, that person, Rupa Goswami says, Kanishta, he gives his reasons. Don't know how to treat people nicely. That's in simple language, not culture. That person, Kanishta Adhikari. Now, because he's a devotee, what should I do? You offer respect. He says that you offer respect from a distance. Keep your distance, he says, but offer respect. So even the lowest, you don't disrespect. You always respect. But keep a distance means don't allow them to influence your emotions. Don't allow them to influence you thinking that, this will follow this. Don't allow them to make you think, gossiping is also very good because he's a devotee, he's gossiping, I should also gossip. That person, devotee. But don't become close friends with them. This is Rupa Goswami saying, not me. And to answer the question. Second level is Madhyamadikari. Madhyamadikari means he knows Krishna consciousness very well. He has decided Krishna consciousness for me. Nothing is going to shake. Nothing can shake Madhyamadikari from the decision to be a devotee. Solid devotee. Second, they know how to treat others very nicely. Very nice. We can learn from them how to treat people. So there's never question of them mistreating people. Because why? Because he's seen everyone has Krishna in their heart. How can I mistreat them? How can I be bad with them? That person is Madhyamadikari. Now his philosophy may not be so strong that he can convert others, but he cannot be converted. You understand the difference? He may not be able to convince others, but he will never be able to, you'll never be able to shake him. And he's also progressive. He's always trying to get better, improving. So that person, what do we do with them? Become friends. We get close to them. Try to learn from them, support their services and whatnot, but become friends. Because now I want to be like this. That's Madhyam. Then the highest is Uttama. Uttama is very rare. How do you know who is Uttama? He has all the good qualities of Madhyama. But his philosophical knowledge is so strong that not only no one can shake him, but he can convince many, many others. This is Krishna consciousness, I want to follow. He can convince very, very effectively and efficiently others. Look at Prabhupada. He defeated so many arguments. He made so many devotees just by glancing at them. That's for Uttamadikari. And another distinguishing quality of Uttamadikari. Day and night, all he thinks about is how to give Krishna to him. He has no other business, no other priority in life. Forget about his own comfort, his own enjoyment. That is nothing. How can I give Krishna to others effectively, lovingly? You see. So what do we do with Uttamadikari? Do we become friends? No. We serve. We learn from them. We serve. Krishna says, right? He says that Tad Vidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Seva. So ask all kinds of questions that are relevant to Krishna consciousness. Pranipat means Dana Pranam. Offer respects and you serve. Seva. So this is Uttamadikari. Pranipat. Pra means forward, Ni means down, Pat means flat. Forward, down, flat. Sanskrit is very clear. This is how you offer pranam. So, the answer to your question is in this Rupa Goswami's nectar instruction, very clear. Don't be neglectful of being discerning who to associate with and how to associate. Otherwise, what happens? The mistake we'll make is we will give disrespect to Uttama and we'll give too much respect and be influenced by Kanishta. Because we treat them all the same. You are devotee? Come on, let me be influenced by you. I'll open up my heart, tell me everything. And then you learn the wrong things. Why? Because he didn't take the time to see how they are behaving. Why do you think Arjuna asked the question? Siddha, right? Siddha Pagya se ka bhasha. How does he speak? How does he sit? How does he, move around? Means, how does he interact with other people? That's a very important question. That's why, this is, by the way, this is when we choose association. Now, if we start noticing that people are offering us respect from a distance, what does that mean? It means we have to now raise ourselves to Madhyam and we have to improve our behavior. We have to treat people nicely. Really evaluate our way of talking with people. So it's not just us judging, but also seeing how we can improve ourselves. This verse is a very good one. We cannot ignore these verses. We have to apply them very finely in our lives. That's a good question. That question is the core of this whole exercise. And that's the message for tomorrow. So today we talked about the power of transformation, the power of association, and tomorrow is the art of how to actually do it.
There's one question on the chat.
Yes, online question.
Online question. You have to associate with different people at work. On street, or in unavoidable situations.
Yes.
What do we do in these circumstances? Question by Ananda Vardhan Das.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ananda Prabhu, our dear friend from the UK. We have unavoidable association. Suppose I have to go by bus, and there's a lady standing in the bus stop, and I ask her, hey, excuse me, ma'am, do you know what time the next bus is going to come? But I will not ask her because I'm a devotee, I don't associate with devotee. No, you associate. This is not association, this is interaction. There's a difference between association and interaction. Interaction means a transactional exchange that needs to happen to go about regular daily life. Whether you're working in the office, you're doing a business, or you're running a factory, or you're a consultant, or you're a housewife haggling for price of vegetable, doesn't matter. This is not association. Mama Boga comes and you're haggling, okay, this is too much money. That is not association. Right? Association means opening up your heart, making yourself vulnerable to influence. That's what association means. Come, let's sit. Talk, tell me what's going on in your life. You know, how are things going? Let me tell you what's been bothering me. You know, I've been trying to do this Krishna conscious thing, and I'm really having some difficulties. Can you explain something from your life? And then this is how you start opening up your heart. That is association. Not what's the price of the air conditioning unit. That is not association. So we have to understand the difference between Sangha and just some exchange that needs to happen. At the same time, even with those exchanges, we be careful because that can be slippery slope depending on what we're doing. You know, sometimes just blinking of the eye and it can turn into something romantic unnecessarily. And if it was non-association, it becomes association. So be careful. It's a good question, but we have to be on the guard. We don't slip into Sangha. We only want satsanga. That's why it says, asatsanga tyag ei Vaishnav achar. So we are Vaishnavas, we've given up asatsanga. You can still be very talkative among your co-workers, explaining everything, even talking about the news and things like that, without opening up your heart. Because that's part of your profession. That's what it requires to move up in the company, whatever it may be. You know how to play the game. That's okay. It's not association. So these things have to be learned. It's a very fine art that we can hone, we can practice some more, and we can discuss with those who are practiced and experienced in the world. And this way, the main thing is finding a person you can trust to open your heart. That's right. That's right. That's what makes Krishna consciousness a little bit more difficult. But thankfully, we have many devotees. And the framework that Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami has given, so among those devotees, how we get close to which ones, how we open up and all that, those things become a little bit clearer. Thank you, Ananda Vardhan Prabhu, for the great question. Appreciate it. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki.
His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu ki.
Yeah.
So we heard this nectarian lecture about the power of closeness, proximity from His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu. For those who do not know, Madana-gopāla Prabhu was born in Nairobi and he moved to America and stayed there for over 30 years and he came back. He's a very gifted speaker, as Pat Prabhu mentioned. So Madana-gopāla Prabhu is here for 2 days. Tomorrow he's giving the Bhagavatam class at what time? 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. If you want to learn more, you have to wake up early to come and hear. And then there's a university program at Moore University at what time? 3 p.m. It's on stress. If you feel you have some stress in your life, you can join the lecture. But all of people from Eldoret are here, there's no stress. So, and then we have the evening lecture again in the evening at 7:30. So please join us. And as Prabhuji was mentioning, if you stick to somebody who is close, you associate with someone who is close, if the person, is giving out love, you will also feel loved. And you will also express love to someone else. So here we have some devotees from America. Please lift up your hands. So we have some devotees from America. who are here. But before we clap for them, it's good to clap for them. We request our Kenyan devotees can sit with them. If you sit with them and you eat twice, they will eat 3 times.
Yes.
That is the power of association. Kenyan people are very expert in hospitality, serving other people, eating also prasad. So please sit with them, eat, make sure your plate is full. Path Prabhu has arranged very nice prasad. And the American devotees will also eat double of that. This is also sadhu sadhu. So with that, we would like to chant one time, all of us. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Please come tomorrow, and thank you very much for coming today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu ki jai. Okay, please take prasad.
Yes, prasad. Volunteers are requested, please arrange the prasad.
Yeah.